Sure, it's a quiet, comforting Sunday evening staple, like a warm blanket for the brain. We love seeing the craftsmanship of a bygone era. We delight in the smug satisfaction of the guest who brings in a dusty painting they bought for a fiver, only to find out it's a lost masterpiece. We live for that gasp, that hand to the mouth, I had no idea moment when the valuation is revealed. But every so often, a segment comes along that reminds us the show has never, ever been about the money. It's about the stories. It's about the quiet histories hiding in our attics. And sometimes it's about a simple object that holds the entire weight of a person's life. This is exactly what happened when a guest brought a simple, folded piece of paper to expert Mark Allam. And in one of the most moving moments in the show's history, the item wasn't a 300-year-old vase or a forgotten royal jewel. It was a letter. A letter that didn't just break the expert's composure. It left him openly weeping and issuing a heartfelt apology to the guest for his reaction. The guest and the void. The scene was set like any other. A friendly guest, a man who grew up in the north of England, stood before Mark Allam. He presented the item, a letter from the iconic, enigmatic singer-songwriter Kate Bush. Immediately, you can see Allam's interest is piqued. A letter from Kate Bush is rare. She is famously private, a true artist who exists outside the normal celebrity circus. But it was the story behind the letter that changed the entire atmosphere of the segment. The guest began to explain the context. This wasn't just fan mail. This was a lifeline. He described his life in the 1980s, painting a picture that is, for many, achingly familiar. He was, in his own words, a fairly isolated young gay man. Let's just pause and sit with that for a moment. The 1980s. The north of England. Before the internet, before social media, before widespread support groups or visible representation. It was a time of intense social and political pressure, a time when feeling different often meant feeling desperately, profoundly alone. This young man had no one to talk to about who he was, no one to share his deepest feelings with. So he did what so many lonely, creative souls do. He turned to art. He wrote poems, pouring all of his feelings, his isolation, and his identity onto the page. And in an act of pure, hopeful vulnerability, he sent those poems to the one person he felt might understand him, Kate Bush. The reply that changed everything. I never expected to get a response, the guest admitted, his voice thick with the memory of it. I sent them out there hoping she would read them. I didn't expect to get a reply back at all. He was shouting into the void, hoping his hero might just hear a faint echo. But she did more than hear him. She wrote back. Mark Allam, holding the letter, read the musician's words aloud. It was not a pre-signed photograph. It was not a generic thanks for your letter from a publicity team. It was a personal, thoughtful, and deeply kind reply from Kate Bush herself. Dear Mark, the letter began, thank you for your lovely letter. It was good to hear from you. She then addressed the poems he had sent, the pieces of his soul he had mailed to her. I really liked reading your poems, she wrote, and you come across as a sensitive, caring person. Imagine hearing those words, at a time when the world might be telling you you're wrong, or different, or less than. Here is one of the greatest artists of the century telling you that she sees you, and what she sees is sensitivity and care. The letter continued, showing a level of trust and connection that is staggering. So much printed information is incorrect, and my music, not what journalists say, is my gift to you. And I know you'll look after that because you already said so. I hope you're happy. Lots of love, Kate Bush. I hope you're happy. It was, as the guest explained, a moment of profound validation. It felt incredibly important to me that somebody had listened to me, he shared, his own emotions catching up with him. You know, just reading that gave me such a boost at the time. Even now, 40 years later, the power of that moment was palpable. The guest connected it to the present, noting Bush's recent resurgence and global #1 status. That's a testament to the power of the music that she wrote, he said, holding back tears. The expert's emotional apology, and that's when the camera turned back to Mark Allam. The expert, who has seen priceless artifacts and heard 1,000 stories, was completely overcome. His voice cracked, he was openly crying. This wasn't the polite, reserved, oh how lovely reaction we're used to. This was a raw human response to an overwhelming story of kindness. He was visibly taken aback, struggling to regain his professional composure. Praising Bush as one of the greatest musicians ever, Alam was clearly floored by